Welcome to Eddie Reacts. Today I'm reacting to American foods that are banned in other countries. Let's
go. Most Americans want to believe that the United States is the gold standard of clean food. But that belief may not hold up to scrutiny. From unsanitary practices in mass production to the addition of dangerous chemicals.
When I was bodybuilding, the first time I went to the States to compete, it was actually 2000. I went to New York and I went to buy chicken, just fresh chicken. I turned the back of it, it's like, but 4 or 5 ingredients. I'm like, what? I thought it was just plain chicken. Whereas over here you can get plain chicken. So that was a red flag. So I was always very careful. Whenever I went to the States, I used to cook my food and then freeze it and carry it in my suitcase and go with it.
Aiming to be USDA approved. That's right. This week we're talking about American foods that have been banned.
Are you subscribed? Because 60% of you guys are not subscribed. Wake the up and help us get to 500,000. How much effort can that be? It's just one click. Anyway, back to the video.
Since the dawn of Skittles, there have been rumors about the dangers of eating them. Every one of us heard at least one classmate claim that the red ones make you sterile, and the yellow ones, they give you cancer. Turns out, it might be worse than that. First of all, your classmate wasn't wrong. The dyes known as Yellow 5 and Yellow 6 have been linked to hives and hyperactivity in children. Sweden and Norway have banned the candies out of concern. The European Union will most likely be banning Skittles at the end of the year, having already swapped out some of the dye for more natural flavors.
Well, why did you just ban the Skittles in the first place? They don't get it. I know, instead of just saying, let's remove the dye, ban the Skittles. There's no need for anybody to eat Skittles. It's just junk, just sugar junk that causes the illness. Why do we have to, just ban the Skittles?
Titanium dioxide, which can be found making the colors pop across the rainbow. Research linked titanium dioxide to damaged DNA, which can lead to cancer.
So we are just sitting around here brewing cancer. We are allowing all these things, and apparently the FDA has approved a lot of these chemicals. Guys, you need to wake the up and realize that sickness is a business. A well person is not profitable.
In May of 2021, the Environmental Working Group asked the FDA to categorize titanium dioxide as toxic. And yes, before you ask, right now the FDA says it's okay to consume some of that chemical compound. You can taste the rainbow, but just in moderation. California is home to an ongoing lawsuit against Mars Inc., the parent company of Skittles.
There should be a lawsuit against all these chocolate and sweet manufacturers. There should be a lawsuit against them because I think their products cause mass deaths.
The lawsuit claims Skittles are not only toxic, but are unfit for human consumption. So maybe for now, play it safe. Just go have some Swedish fish instead. Ever looked at a piece of crusty French baguette, be it in cartoon or in real life, but let's be honest, it was probably in the hands of Pepe Le Pew, and think, I can't make a sandwich with that? As great as we talk about the invention of sliced bread, a lot of European countries have actually banned much of what you'd find on America's wide grocer shelves. That's because we make a lot of our bread not just with grain, but with a variety snap packs worth of additives.
I can comfortably say that the bread in America is terrible, but it's not that much better over here in the UK either. When I was a child, my mum used to bake bread and it had 4 ingredients.
Azodicarbonamide, for example, which helps bleach flour and strengthen dough.
Yeah.
Fun fact about azodicarbonamide, it's also used in a spectrum of industrial products, including yoga mats.
What is that? A small amount won't hurt you straight away because it's deemed okay. It's been approved. Guys, don't fall for it. If you want to eat bread, bake your own bread.
The European Union is really against the idea of its citizens eating yoga mat material and has banned their use in food products. Pork, the other white meat, is a staple of American meats along with chicken, fish, and beef. From bacon to ham, hot dogs to pork chops. American meat eaters consume about 67 pounds of pig per person every year. Soo-wee, my heart is stopping. Don't get us wrong, other nations indulge in swine just as much, if not more, than Americans. So why doesn't the U.S. export scores of succulent bacon-bearing boars? Well, it turns out America adds a lot of chemicals during processing. Ractopamine in particular is used in many pig farms to raise porkier porkers.
Ractopamine.
Ractopamine, which we put a dash of in a lot of foods, has been banned in 160 countries.
It's been banned in 160 countries. What does that tell you? And I can say comfortably that we are not that much better. Europe, I mean, some parts of Europe, it's not as bad, but in the UK, we're not that much better. We're falling for the same trap that you guys fell for.
This, in turn, has led to a prohibition of pork exports across the world. The EU hasn't touched the stuff since outlawing ractopamine in 2009. China and Russia have been ractopamine-less since 2013. Maybe that's because ractopamine has the same effects as an intoxicant on humans and can cause tachycardia, headaches, and muscle spasms.
I mean, who decided that it was okay to have these chemicals in food? Somebody one morning got up and said,
"Oh, let's put some ractopamine in them, feed the pigs with ractopamine."
When did it start? How did our food become so contaminated? How did your food become so contaminated? Chicken.
Hygiene in America often comes down to dousing stuff in a chlorine bath and calling it FDA approved, and chicken is no exception. Pathogen reduction treatments, or PRTs, refer to the use of different chemicals to destroy harmful microbes on raw meat. Somewhere along the line, American food regulators decided a quick chlorine shock was the best way to kill salmonella and other bacteria.
Chlorine, they put chlorine in chicken. Why is that? Just to kill bacteria. It's crazy.
Chlorine marinade.
I like that he says chlorine marinade. That's where you get in the swimming pool now. It's crazy, man.
In fact, the risks posed by chlorine consumption are relatively low. The bigger concern is that the chlorine baths are just an eye-burning Band-Aid on a larger problem. The tip of the beak, so to speak. They're worried that the PRTs are insufficient to deal with more than just the normal bacteria and don't get at a potential contamination from things like low-quality feed to unsanitary coops on farms. The EU called the chlorine rinse an easy fix, arguing no chemical rinse will ever remove all bacteria from meat.
When you're watching the chickens and the animals being treated like this, it just makes you understand why people stop eating meat for ethical reasons. Not me. I'll always eat meat. It's one of those things where you go like this and you just eat the meat. Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew is the closest any soft drink has come to being fully weaponized. But did you know in Austria and Norway, the soda is outright banned?
Do we have to have Mountain Dew in the UK?
I actually don't know.
I'm looking at it thinking, I've not actually seen it here. Let's have a look and see if we've got it in the UK. Because I've only ever seen it in the States. I don't know if we've got it here.
Ironically, the qualities that make Mountain Dew a soda non gratis in other countries is exactly what the brand promotes, a frenetic, over-caffeinated lifestyle. Do the Dew. Baja Blast. Woo-hoo. The original Mountain Dew was meant as a whiskey mixer, with a name coming from the affectionate Scottish term for moonshine. It'll tickle your innards, is what the old ads used to read. No lies detected here.
Yahoo! Mountain Dew!
Little Debbie. I don't know if we've got Little Debbie, but let's see what chemicals they've got in them. I've never seen it here.
Has been providing Americans with comfort snack food since the
Here we go.
1960s, with their variety of zebra cakes, star crunches, nutty bars, fudge rounds, and cosmic
Good.
brownies. But their big claim to fame, as anyone who has ever had their lunch packed by a parent can attest, is the Little Debbie Swiss rolls.
Oh, Swiss rolls. They make Swiss rolls, that's it.
Butter creamy filling. Over 900 million cartons of Little Debbie products. are
Little
shipped every
Debbie.
year.
I've heard of
None
them.
of those cartons go
But it doesn't look like something I'd want to eat.
Norway.
It doesn't look like, it doesn't look like food.
Yellow 5 and red 5.
Yellow 5, right? Oh,
Swiss
God.
rolls contain 32 milligrams of dye per product, and in those quantities, they've been shown to have an adverse effect on children.
I always thought that feeding stuff like that to your children all the time That's actually cruelty. When my children were young, we used to cook for them every single day. They had a cooked meal. Sometimes we'd cook a lot of food and then refrigerate it for the next day, but at least they had a meal. In the morning, they had an egg. That was they had to have an egg for the first meal. But look at this. I don't know why any parent would buy that for their child.
And while we can't prove there's a direct connection between artificial food coloring and cancer, they do cause damage to white blood cells.
We may say that, we don't know if it's linked to cancer or not, but we know that. We don't need any proof. The people who are stopping us from, just accepting that this, dyes and this artificial products in our food causes cancer are the people who are making the food for us. They're the ones who are lobbying and literally just making sure that, we're looking, the government's looking elsewhere. The way they banned tobacco, the campaign they did to ban tobacco, they should do the same with crap like this.
Exposure to these dyes could cause tumor cells to multiply way more rapidly. For that reason, researchers say a high chronic intake of food colorings throughout the entire life is not advisable.
Food dyes, just crazy. It is crazy how food dyes have become a thing. I mean, when did that start?
I don't like the broccoli green anymore. Let's just start adding something to it to make a different color.
When you hear the words banned breakfast cereal, you're probably imagining one of the countless kid-focused brands of sugary morsels, like the oh-so-delicious Cookie Crisp. So you might be surprised to learn that it's actually Special K, the most boring cereal on all of the earth, that has been banned in Denmark and discouraged in the EU. How does the healthiest box of flakes on the shelf get banned, while stuff like Reese's Puffs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch continue to enjoy free passage? Ironically, because of its supposed health benefits. In the UK, Special K has been put on blast by the Advertising Standards Authority for exaggerating how much folic acid they pack into portions.
I'm old enough to remember the Special K diet. And personally, I think that if you eat Special K, you're an idiot.
Denmark has completely banned Special K since 2004 for all its fortified vitamins and minerals. Regulators argue that Kellogg's cereal's unnaturally high levels of everything from vitamin A to zinc actually qualify Special K as a genetically modified organism.
Companies like Kellogg's, they are guilty, really, aren't they? They're guilty of mass murder.
More specifically, Special K is swole with the same artificial compounds that studies have shown to potentially pose health risks, specifically to children and pregnant women. In conclusion, you may want to stick with crunch berries. Today, consuming raw meat has fallen out of fashion in the US, much like other foods like veal and pate, which don't make you sick but might make you sad. But while baby cow and overstuffed goose liver is illegal in parts of America now, tartare is not. See, while veal and pate may be uncool, they are also served hot, unlike tartare, which is chopped up cold meat, straight from the cow. Undercooked or raw foods can lead to an increase in food poisoning and parasitic infections, especially in beef and poultry. But considering how fancy pants steak tartare is, Titanic food one might say, you'd think countries might look the other way and let the luxury delicacy slide. And for a long time they did. In Canada, meat has to reach an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit, the equivalent of a medium rare steak, in order to be considered safe to serve. But those rules aren't strictly enforced. That is, until recently. In 2021, restaurant owners in New Brunswick selling steak tartare were all served cease and desist letters.
When it comes to, steak, I eat a lot of red meat, and sometimes I eat it raw. Not routinely, just have a couple of bites. I buy grass-fed, grass-finished, Scottish beef from a butcher. And it tells me, he knows where it comes from. Whereas a lot of some of the steaks that you get, especially in the States, they feed them with grain. They would like Wagyu, for instance. Wagyu, they feed them with corn and like barley and rice. That's not their food. So they get infections and they give them antibiotics. Just crazy. Then you wonder, that's why a lot of the time the food is not, you can eat raw. It's not, but when it comes to steak, I like my steak like blue. The problem we've got is that, a lot of chemicals are accepted in our food as dyes and preservatives. and we accept it. We accept them. They don't hurt us straight away. That's why we allow them. But they're not good for us. Guys, if you want good health, just forget about how many, whether it's banned in the US or not. Just concentrate on buying single ingredient foods and making it yourself. You feel so much better. These companies are only after profit. They're not interested in your health. Look after yourselves.